Hello everyone, welcome to the video recording of They Raced Horses on Main Street, Part 9 in the video, and the Part 6 in the book. Social Activities and Entertainment. During the 40 years or so that followed the Civil War, Douglas earned a record as a great musical and social center. Her musical societies, bands, and literary clubs were a popular attraction. In addition, traveling troupes gave her much prominence in music, drama, and entertainment. Her concerts, cantatas, socials, and various stage offerings were events in this section of Worcester County. This social character of Douglas induced these many clubs and organizations to provide numerous affairs, some of which were lectures, tableaux, concerts, plays, bazaars, dances, masquerades, and discussions. The 1860s and 1870s. Lectures. The East Douglas Methodist Society has completed arrangements for a course of 6 lectures, to commence about the 15th of November, 1868. Able lecturers have been engaged, and it is the intention of the committee to make the course interesting and instructive. Should it prove a success, another course of 6 lectures will immediately follow. Tickets for the course are only $1, to be obtained at the principal stores in the village. All should supply themselves as soon as possible. Single tickets, 25 cents at the door. A new course of lectures. Mr. Tinkham Gray delivered the first of a course of 6 lectures on phrenology and physiology in the Congregational Church Tuesday evening. A very respectable audience was in attendance, and all seemed much interested. Mr. Gray has demonstrated his ability to impart a vast amount of useful information upon these important subjects concerning which we cannot learn too much. He also gives physiological examinations in his rooms at the hotel. The lecturers were highly thought of throughout New England. They held their audiences spellbound, every part of the lectures sprinkled with brilliant illustrations of a profound, interesting, and enlightening nature, and repeatedly drew the hearty applause of the audiences. Several of their subjects were Whom Shall We Trust?, Phrenology and Physiology, and Women's Rights from a Bible Standpoint. Before each lecture, the East Douglas Glee Club entertained the audiences with melodies which were well received. Hardy. A person who attended the First Congregational Society's festival this last week of June, 1868, disposed of 17 cups of coffee, 3 pies, a bowl of oysters, and 2 quarts of cider, and wasn't very hungry either. The above dishes were also interlarded with various delicacies which were placed before him, and the whole time occupied in transferring the enormous piles from the table to his capacious stomach was 1 hour and 22 minutes exactly. He contributed his full share towards a very proper disposal of the huge quantity of refreshments which were offered for sale, and has not been heard from since. The IOGT, Independent Order of Good Templars, was among the many educational and progressive organizations which strive to stimulate civic and social interest in the community. At one of the Good Templars' discussions, female suffrage, a lively issue of the day, turned out to be a brilliant and interesting affair. At the end of the discussion, 2 resolutions were put forth. The first, the rum seller, is a greater curse to the community than the rum drinker, and the second, that the Constitution of Massachusetts ought to be so amended that females shall be allowed to vote in all civic elections. Some kind of traveling show on wheels arrived in town Thursday, and left the next morning, the proprietor evidently disgusted with the climate. The French ball in Whitting's Hall last Friday evening was, to say the least, highly entertaining to a large number of spectators. The YMCA, Young Men's Christian Association, has won its way to public appreciation by its 7 months of efficiency, and now numbers 78 members, male and female. This number ought certainly to be doubled, if not trebled, in order by annual subscriptions to secure means whereby to supply reading matter, recreation, and mental improvement. All who favor this organization should at once send in their names and annual membership fees, which are $1 for gentlemen and 50 cents for ladies. A social dance will be held in Simpson's Hall next Thursday evening, Washington's birthday, to which a general invitation is extended. We are assured by the managers that everything will be conducted in a manner which will ensure the attendance of all lovers of this pleasing pastime. Mr. L. Simpson presents his card to the people of this vicinity in this issue. His billiard and refreshment rooms in the Rogerson building have been elegantly fitted up and present every facility for the convenience of his customers. We know that everything at this place is conducted in a manner which will ensure the goodwill of the public. Grand Concert. The East Douglas Musical Society will give a public rehearsal of Roots' cantata of The Haymakers in the Congregational Church on Wednesday evening, April 13th, under the direction of J. Astor Broad. Miss Mattie A. Broad, pianist. Soloists include William Hunt, John C. Waters, Oliver C. Hutchins, W. Mason Broad, Miss H. A. Hutchins, Miss F. A. Cummings, and Miss Nellie Morton. A chorus of 50 voices. Admission 25 cents. Reserved seats 35 cents. Doors open at 7. Commences at 1 to 4 to 8. Sale of tickets and reserved seats will commence on Saturday afternoon at the post office and at Russell's newsroom. The East Douglas Musical Society produced such works as Haydn's Creation, Broad's cantatas Ruth and Joseph, and The Haymakers, which was one of the grandest entertainments ever given in the town. As the title indicates, the concert, which took place in the Congregational Church, was founded upon scenes and incidents connected with the hayfield, the farmhouse, and the haymaking season. The music, which was superb, consisted of solos, duets, trios, quartets, and choruses numbering about 40 voices. The large audience was infatuated with the whole of this first-class program, which was a sufficient reward for the members of the society who labored so diligently to present it. Miss Jarley's Waxworks, the entertainment given in the church on Wednesday evening, the 9th inst., was a very pleasant affair. All who took part in the literary exercises and tableau performed their parts well, particularly Miss Kate Sibley as Joan of Arc. The perfect facsimiles of figures renowned in the earthly and spiritual work were exhibited with pride and skillfully extolled by Miss Jarley. The fine music by the Douglas Brass Band added much to the entertainment, and a bountiful supply of refreshments were served in the vestry. From early fall to late spring of each year, time did not hang heavily on the hands of anyone in the village. The people were presented excellent entertainments by local talent and professional performances by traveling troupes. Societies, clubs, and organizations sponsored such social diversions as dramas, revues, minstrels, bazaars, and glee clubs. These groups also staged musicals to develop and educate the musical talent of the town. Reading clubs were formed, where essays, recitations, debates, and questions concerning the political and philosophical were discussed, all for the intellectual, social, and moral improvement of the citizens, both young and old. 1880s and 1890s. The drama, The Last Loaf, given under the auspices of the Friendly Helpers Lodge, IOGT, drew out a fine audience and was said to have been well presented. The cast of characters were well sustained and reflected much credit on the local talent. Another amateur drama, entitled 100 Years Ago, is being rehearsed and is to be produced by the Daughters of Rebecca, auxiliary of the I.O. of O.F., the International Order of Oddfellows. The drama, Placer Gold, offered by the Mumford River Lodge AF and AM and Eastern Star, will be given March 24th. On the 21st of February, 1883, Miss Helen Potter, America's greatest reader and impersonator, presented her grand monologue entertainment at Thayer's Hall in East Douglas. The following description of Miss Potter's entertainment, written by one of the ablest lady journalists in the entire area, said, "There would seem to be something of the magician about a person who gives an entire evening's entertainment unaided, and who, in the course of a couple of hours, appears in no less than 5 or 6 costumes, and in a make-up so perfect as to appear the embodiment of so many different people, but a peep into the ante-room from whence came, and return the veritable John B. Gough, Fanny Kremble, Lawrence Barrett, and others, would disclose the fact that in it was only one woman. Her entertainment last evening was a success. She charmed her audience at every step. Discarding the old stereotyped readings, she had created an entertainment peculiarly her own. In dialect representations, she is wonderfully good. Scotch, French, Italian, German, and Negro. It is difficult to say which is best. With a range of voice and ventriloquial powers, unequaled by an elocutionist before the public, together with a magnificent physique, she is enabled to accomplish these fine impersonations. As a public woman, she stands utterly above reproach. As a private person, she is loyal and lovable, generous to her friends, just to her foes, large-hearted, fine-grained, honest and fearless, of superior intellect and undoubted attainments. She stands among the women whom all womanhood should delight to honor." The GAR, Grand Army of the Republic, had a clam bake in Morse's Grove on the 4th. Among the attractions was a shooting gallery which was conducted by Comrade Arnold. It was won by George Abbott, who made 59 out of a possible 150, winning a gun as the prize. T.T. Potter presented the Grand Army Post with a barrel of kerosene oil, Miss W.E. Jones a hanging lamp, A.J. Thayer a pig, W. Nason a cake basket, and George Southwick 2 rubber coats for use at the fair. A lantern festival was given in Richardson's Grove by the Ladies' Social Union of the Methodist Church. The grove was illuminated by many colorful Japanese lanterns, which sufficiently lighted long tables spread with toothsome viands as accessories to the king of the feast, the clam chowder. Fine music was rendered during the evening by the Eagle Band of East Douglas. The affair was a success in a financial way as well as in a social way. The Young People's Society of Christian Endeavor, connected with the Congregational Church, is one of our most numerous organizations and is doing much good among the young people. Their meetings, held weekly, are largely attended and of a very interesting character. An interesting Sunday school concert was given at the Methodist Church. The exercises were varied and interspersed with excellent vocal and instrumental music. W.P. Howe's song, "Consider the Lilies," was rendered in his usual superior manner. About $40 were realized above expenses by the Ladies' Social Union from the drama Neighbor Jack Wood. The local Acts Assembly is still in a prosperous condition and numbers nearly 300 members. The harmony of their proceedings are uninterrupted, and perfect goodwill remains in all their deliberations. It is governed by wise counsel, and by union and cooperation it betters the conditions of the working man, who contributes certainly more than any other class to the prosperity of the state. The Young People's Christian League hold very interesting prayer meetings every Sunday evening at 5:45 in the vestry of the Methodist Church. All the young people are invited to attend. The earnest workers are to give an entertainment consisting of recitations, dialogues, and music in the vestry of the Orthodox Church next Wednesday evening at 7:30 o'clock. All are cordially invited, as an interesting time is anticipated. Admission, 10 cents. The ladies of the Methodist Church will have a sale and entertainment in Central Hall on Thursday evening, December 9th, 1887. Much pains are being taken for an excellent program. The local K of L, Knights of Labor, are doing an excellent thing in the opening of a reading room, which has been conveniently fitted up with tables, chairs, etc., and is a pleasant place to pass an evening. Books, magazines, and papers of various kinds are taken so no one need lack for reading matter. The K of L has also started a cooperative store and other arrangements for the social as well as in other ways beneficial interests of its members. This unity of feeling among the 300 knights here is very commendable and argues well for their prosperity. Harmony certainly prevails among them in their actions for the welfare of their institution and its members individually. A true knight surely cherishes at all times the interest of his order, and for a brother knight, love and friendship. Under the management of Abbott and Batchelor, a roller skating rink was opened in the central block and immediately became all the rage. The young people of Douglas found it the most popular of diversions, and always enjoyed a splendid time at the rink during the winter season. They had skating parties of various sorts, the masquerades being the best liked, at which there were 2 hours of skating and the rest of the evening devoted to dancing, with music furnished by a full orchestra. The highlight of the first season was the appearance of a Miss Newall of Worcester, who gave an exhibition of fancy roller skating to a crowd which filled the hall to its utmost capacity. In answer to a thunderous encore, she skated with her skates unclamped. The reputation of Douglas as a musical town also included the cornet and brass bands of the community. In the 1860s, there was the East Douglas Cornet Band. In the 1870s, the Douglas Brass Band. And in the 1880s, there were 2 bands, the Young America Band and the Eagle Band. In this same decade, the 2 reorganized as one band under the name of the East Douglas Band. The new uniforms of the band were of white duck throughout and were very tasteful. The band was for all public occasions, as well as the pleasure of listening to good music at the open-air concerts, parades, and special events. Central Hall was filled by those who listened to the singing of the Nashville students, who gave a fine performance of plantation melodies. A tourist club of some 12 or 15 members has been formed here. It is now on a trip to Florida. The Sunbonnet Whist Club was guest last night of Mrs. Lola and Edith Hallway at the home of Fielder Converse and wife. Whist was played until 3 a.m. Functions and social activities became much larger and more elaborate during these 20 years of the 1880s and 1890s. Several of the public events were the highly successful plays and minstrel shows, which were staged annually by local talent for the benefit of the public library and other worthy causes. In 1894, the Volunteer Minstrels, a group of men and women, played to a fair-sized audience for one of the early library benefits. The following year, the Volunteer Minstrels were replaced by an all-female group known as the Lady Minstrels. They put on a first-class show and became an immediate hit, drawing large, delighted audiences at each of their annual performances. The presentations of comedies and dramas also increased during this period. One of the best received was the Old Homestead, a 4-act drama with a cast of 22 characters. At intermissions, the Homestead Quartet rendered the Palms, Rock-Bye Baby, and other popular selections. The whole affair was produced for the benefit of the Street Sprinkler, a large horse-drawn vehicle which sprinkled water on the main street to hold down the very dusty condition of the road. Political caucuses, rallies, and campaigns, in particular the presidential ones, were given much more attention by the 2 parties. Huge flags of the candidates were always unfurled to the breeze, one at the Axe Company's office and the other at the East Douglas Hotel. The last 8 years of this 40-year span, from 1868 to 1908, witnessed the advent of great changes. Electric lights replaced the lamplighter and the kerosene lamp. The telephone was a wonder. Moving pictures brought a new dimension in entertainment and overnight became the most popular attraction. And of course, the automobile, a new type of vehicle which was very noisy and scared all the horses, made its debut. It seemed that these astonishing changes considerably increased the pace of events in the town. Many new clubs and societies were organized for both public and private enjoyment. The number of social affairs were of a more varied sort, and outside special groups were brought here for pleasant entertainment. 1900 through 1908. The Dorcas Society is actively at work trying to pay the debt for repairs to the parsonage. Everybody who cares to help in a good work aid the society in any way possible. The Dorcases of the world have ever stood in need of help, since they always find work to do. The 3 nights Masonic Fair held last week proved a grand success in every way, and those in charge of it are to be congratulated for their efforts put forth to make it so. The total receipts were about $1,125, and when all bills are settled, there will be a large balance left which the lodge can find a way to make good use of to good advantage. Last week, Thursday evening, May 9th, 1902, at Church of the Covenant, 9 young ladies connected with the society presented the Champion of Her Sex, a farce in one act before a fair-sized company. During the evening, there were also readings by Miss Jenny Walker, violin selections by William Flame, and solos by Miss Methel Jones. The Brown University Glee, Banjo, and Mandolin Club has been engaged to give one of its first-class concerts in Central Hall. The Foster concert given by the Methodist Choir in Foresters Hall Tuesday evening proved a big success. The program was composed of songs by Stephen C. Foster, the audience being invited to join in the chorus. The Swedes held a meeting at 5 p.m. Tuesday in their rooms. The Finlander Association, who have been holding forth in Thayer's Block, held their celebration and Christmas tree in the hall Monday evening. The French Amateur Club will hold an entertainment and dance in their rooms next Friday evening. The entertainment will consist of songs, duets, and a farce entitled Fun in a Boiler Shop. Excerpt from a local wedding. A reception was held in Foresters Hall in the evening, to which everyone was cordially invited, and a large party accepted the invitation. The Bingville Band of Douglas furnished the music and added to the evening's enjoyment. The merriment was kept up until the older married people were sleeping, to be awakened some hours later by a doleful sound which might have been the mourn of the spirit of the peddler who was murdered in the haunted orchard many years ago. However, it proved to be the last sigh of an old dilapidated hand organ passing down the street, accompanied by horns, tin cans, and the Bingville Band. The women of the community were not to be outdone by the men in matters of entertainment. Some time back, there were several all-female minstrel shows. Then, in the very early 1900s, about 1905, the first of 2 all-ladies orchestras was formed which played to many audiences. The first, the O.B. Joyful Ladies Orchestra, gave a concert in Foresters Hall Wednesday night to a large and appreciative audience. The hall was trimmed with flags, bunting, and ferns, and presented a very attractive appearance. About a year later, the second group of ladies, known as the Pleasant Orchestra, was formed, which also provided entertainment at many functions. Saturday evening, there will be a dance in the French Amateur Club with music by the Pleasant Orchestra. Lower Masonic Hall was the scene of an old-fashioned diner served at Ye Old-Fashioned Hour of 6 by Ye Old-Fashioned People. The Great Minstrel Show, presented at Thayer's Hall for the benefit of Court Douglas F of A, was a huge success. People were present from many of the surrounding towns, and they, together with the townspeople, filled the hall to its utmost capacity. The songs and local hits by the black-faced artists were greatly enjoyed. The entertainment was followed by a dance, music furnished by the Manola Orchestra of Douglas. The merrymaking continued till a late hour. Thursday evening, September 15th, 1905, there was a large attendance in Forster's Hall to hear Noborn Kawasaki, a native of Japan, but who is now taking a postgraduate course at Boston University. Mr. Kawasaki lectured on Japanese life and illustrated his talk with stereopticon views of Japanese scenery, and also some scenes of the Russo-Japanese battles in the late war. The lecture was given under the auspices of the Epworth League of the Methodist Episcopal Church, and the money raised is to be used for defraying the expense of heating the church. Miss Anna F. Bird of Douglas held an exhibition of watercolor paintings in the town hall Monday and Tuesday afternoon and evening. Many people attended the exhibition and greatly enjoyed the exhibit. On the left side of the hall were hung 78 paintings of scenes from England, Scotland, Wales, France, Holland, and Italy. The features of Switzerland's mountains, Italy's lakes, and the sketches from Windermere and Ambleside, England, were especially attractive. These views were all sketched by Miss Bird, who but recently returned from a European tour. On the right of the hall were views of different parts of New England, principally Vermont and New Hampshire lakes and mountains, and also were seen bits of Douglas scenery. Miss Bird will also exhibit her paintings in Whitensville, where she has a large class of pupils. A.F. Wheeler's Circus was in East Douglas today for 2 performances on the triangular lot of the James Smith Estate between Depot Street and the Martin Road. The attendance was larger than even a press agent would have reckoned it. The Howard Comedy and Vaudeville Company gives shows Thursday and Friday nights of this week in Thayer's Hall. The history of moving pictures in East Douglas began around 1904, with exhibitions for the benefit of several village societies. These occasional showings of the pictures continued somewhat in this fashion for 3 or 4 years. The people enjoyed the moving pictures very much, and were so attracted to them that the owner and producer decided to give a show each evening in Thayer's Hall. This turned out to be a 4 weeks run, the greatest entertainment event of the town. The audience varied in size from 100 to 300 or 400. They used to change twice a week, that is, new pictures were shown twice a week. However, the bill often changed more than that because the singers engaged for the illustrated songs did not always stay for as long as 3 days. The audiences were not at all times as cool and proper as a New England audience might be. They sang whenever they pleased, and if the show started to drag, took the entertainment into their own hands and hissed and jeered at national celebrities or at any other characters who appeared on the screen. Court Douglas, number 214 F of A, closed a very successful fair Saturday evening, January 19th, 1906, and its treasury amount is increased by a number of hundreds of dollars. Many from out of town, with the local attendance, filled the 2 halls of Thayer's Block to overflowing. Miss Grace B. Young, pianist, and Herbert E. Sherman, violinist of Milford, furnished music for dancing, which was in the upper hall. The larger gifts were bestowed at 10 o'clock. The McGee range went to Fred Foster. George H. Stoddard was the lucky man for the $15 in gold. The $10 in gold went to Viola Hughes. Tom Hudgings got the ton of coal, and Irving Peters the extension table. The silver water pitcher went to Clemens Goodness. The order is to be congratulated on the success of the fair, which has been a source of pleasure to its patrons and a big financial increase to F of A. Samuel Sibley, GAR, Post, has not lost any members by death the past year. The members of St. Denis Parish will have a 5-days fair in Thayer's Hall, May 17th, 18th, 19th, 25th, and 26th. The proceeds to go towards building a new church. The committee are James W. Wickstead, President, John B. Chapdelaine, Vice President and Secretary, Reverend Louis E. Berry, Treasurer, Charles Massiere, Assistant Secretary, and a soliciting committee of about 40. A lawn party under the auspices of the DAR will be at the home of Miss Lewis Holbrook, Depot Street, next Thursday afternoon from 3 to 6 o'clock. Invitations have been sent to the chapters in Widensville, Uxbridge, and Oxford to be present. A calico ball was held in Foresters Hall, New Year's evening, 1905. A large number were present and greatly enjoyed the dancing, music for which was furnished by the Pleasant Orchestra of Douglas. The ladies all wore calico or print dresses. The gentlemen were attired in white duck suits. The hall was prettily decorated with evergreen. Refreshments of ice cream and soda were served during the evening. The dancing was participated in till 1 o'clock. In all probability, many of the ladies purchased their prints and calicos from Heath's dry goods store, where a large selection of other materials, cottons, alpaca, worsted, and delaines was available. The Clark University Glee Club gave a concert in Thayer's Hall Thursday evening, which was much enjoyed by the large audience. The concert was given under the auspices of the senior class, DHS, and the proceeds will be used for defraying expenses of the commencement in June. Tomorrow, Saturday, evening, January 25th, 1907, in Thayer's Hall, will be gathered together the greatest aggregation of stars Douglas has ever beheld. Should it be a stormy night, the stars will be twinkling and brilliant just the same. The company of minstrels and entertainers representing the Lambert B. Simmons Post, S of V, will give an entertainment for the benefit of the post. By 1908, the frequency and variety of social activities and entertainment in Douglas were worthy of this review of the dramatic season. The East Douglas stage, intending to show how the art of acting is coming into its own. The season had a double start on September 16th, 1908, when the critics and first-nighters were confronted with the reappearance on the stage of Charles Bennett for the first time in many years at the Methodist Church in East Douglas, and with the simultaneous production at Douglas Center of the symbolic sketch, The Magic Mirror, by the whole population of the center, whose ages are between 10 or so and 26 or so. The latter event was made particularly lustrous by the presence among the audience of John R. Thayer of Worcester, who, according to information at anybody's disposal in Who's Who, is a native of Douglas, and who was at that time sojourning at Douglas Center for the purpose of going on a few old fox hunts with his friend Edgar C. Parker. Foreknowledge of his presence strongly tempted the first-nighters, and gave the event a preponderance in importance. The Bennett Reed debut in East Douglas was of equal importance, and consequently the first-nighters went some to one, some to the other. After the excitement attending the dual beginning of the season, a lull ensued for 3 weeks, when on a Saturday night, the first-nighters found themselves rushing over to Quoben to assist at the production of The Magic Mirror once again, this time by a cast that included most, if not quite all, of the younger Quoben Baptist set. Then, in mid-November, there were 2 performances of Shakespeare's celebrated court scene from The Merchant of Venice. The next event, which occurred last week, was the Minstrel Show, and dramatic performance of The Foresters. The only offering so far this week took place at the Methodist Church, and was the performance of an original but very short romantic farce by a capable company of players. Tomorrow night, the boards at Quoben will be trodden by a troupe of native artists, gracefully disporting in the presentation of The Interrupted Proposal. We think we have accomplished our purpose, which was merely to enumerate the occurrences of the season for our readers. The many presentations of entertainment and pleasant activities, which were greatly enjoyed by the people, were sponsored by these societies, clubs, organizations, and churches. I.O. of O.F., International Order of Odd Fellows, the DAR, Daughters of the American Revolution, Captain Job Knapp Chapter, the WCTU, Woman's Christian Temperance Union, the AOUW, Ancient Order of United Workmen, the F of A, Foresters of America, the K of L, the Knights of Labor, the S of F, Sons of Veterans, the GAR, Grand Army of the Republic, the OES, Order of the Eastern Star, the IOGT, the Independent Order of Good Templars, the YPSCE, Young People's Society of Christian Endeavor, the TU, the Temperance Union, the YMCA, Young Men's Christian Association, along with Alpha Club, Axe Makers Union, the Busy Bee Sewing Circle, Balcomb's Orchestra, the Catchem Coon Club, Christian Endeavor, the Congregational Society, the Chautauqua Society, the Dorcas Society, the Douglas Baseball Club, the Douglas Walking Club, the Douglas Social Library, the Douglas Union Camp Meeting, Dudley's Orchestra, the Daughters of Rebecca, Douglas Lyceum, the Douglas Library Association, the Douglas Literary Society, Douglas Grange, East Douglas Athletic Club, East Douglas Music Society, East Douglas Baseball Association, East Douglas Glee Club, East Douglas Cornet Band, and East Douglas Gospel Alliance. The following societies and clubs also presented many functions, the occasions being greatly enjoyed by all: Earnest Workers, Epworth League, Eagle Band, the Evangelical Society of South Douglas, the French Amateur Club, the Flower Mission, the Finnish Sunday School, the Finlander Association, the Junior Endeavor Society, the Junior Epworth League, Loyal Legion, Lawn Tennis Club, Ladies Benevolent Society, Ladies Circle, Larkin Club, Ladies Social Union, the Manola Orchestra, Mumford River Fishing Club, Mumford River Lodge AF and AM, the Men's Catholic Slovak Sokol Society, the Machinist and Blacksmith Union, O.B. Joyful Ladies Orchestra, Pleasant Orchestra, all ladies, Reform Club, the Reading Club, Samuel Sibley, WRC 159, the Shewaya Club, the Swedish Society, the Sunbonnet Whist Club, the Social Club, the St. John Society, the St. Anne's Sodality, the Teachers Club, the Tourist Club, Wednesday Whist Club, Woodmincy Fish and Game Club, Wide Awake Company, Young America Band, the Young Ladies Society, and the Young People's Club of Douglas. The principal places where all of these events, activities, and meetings held were Central Hall, Thayer's Hall, Simpson's Hall, Fire Engine Hall, Citizens Hall, Whitting's Hall, Knapp's Hall, Town Hall, East Douglas Hotel, and of course, the churches.